All right, so we're back for a real quick bonus episode of Black Adam. How you feeling, man?
I'm feeling good. How are you doing, Chad?
I'm all right. I mean, we don't really do these often. Like logistically, time-wise, this is hard as fuck to do.
Yes, it is. We rolling on this. It's like 9 in the morning for me.
Right. But hey, we're here. We're here for the listeners. Let's do this. So before we talk about our impressions of this movie, I want to play back our impressions of the initial trailer.
I don't have high expectations for this movie.
Mm.
It's a DC movie. It's a rock movie. So I'm not saying that this movie is not going to make a lot of money. It's going to make a ton of money. But earlier where you're like Chris Pratt is going to be Chris Pratt. We all know The Rock is going to be The Rock no matter what. So I don't know, like I kind of felt like if it was a different person than The Rock, maybe it might be different, like a quote unquote real actor.
Kind of disrespectful.
The Rock knows what he's doing. The Rock knows what his fan base is. That's why he is The Rock at all of his movies. So
Don't do that to The Rock.
I like The Rock.
The Rock is doing it to itself.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Did you guys feel those intentional nods to Black Panther in the trailer?
I did not until somebody pointed it out to me, and then I was like, "Oh shit, it is."
So you got the spaceship coming into a city with the rap music, and then somebody jumping out the ship looking all cool and shit with their hands on their chest, almost. I think it was a black person too.
I'm sure it was.
Yeah, it's just like, and this is like, what is this movie?
I'm tired of everybody trying to like make these villains like kind of like heroes.
Yes,
stop that shit. These fuckers are villains.
Yes,
it's okay. Let them be evil.
Specifically, Black Adam. Like, he's not a good guy. He's not a bad guy, but he's not a good guy. So he should be killing people. But we all know by the end of this movie, he's gonna save the world, because you know what? He's the only person that can. All right. So with all that being said, man, after seeing the movie, do you feel the same way?
No, I feel different.
Really?
Yes. Well, I still feel like The Rock is being The Rock. I still feel like the movie is going to make a lot of money. But my expectations of this movie was low to mid, and after watching it, my expectations have risen.
What? Your expectations?
I mean, my expectations.
You saw the movie,
right? All right. So basically, I had no. My enjoyment of this movie was low when I put a trailer, but I enjoyed the movie.
Okay. I mean, I feel like I was spot on. Like, okay, let me roll back. Going in, I expected a piece of shit, and this movie was not a piece of shit. But I could not see the Black Panther stuff. Like the very first scene when you meet Hawkman, this man in a bathrobe that looks like he took that from T'Challa's closet. And then like in the movie, they're trying to get this mineral called Ethereum or something like that.
Animatium.
Sure. It's DC Vibranium.
Yeah, like just kryptonite, whatever you want to call it.
Right. So I'm like, what are we doing here? Like, we still had like like a lot of set pieces that felt Black Panther-ish, yeah. But once we got past that, it was all right. Like, overall, it was a good movie. It was fun, funny. I feel like there's a little too jokey. This is not a Marvel movie. Don't try and be a Marvel movie.
Okay, so now that you say that, so This is a message to Dwayne The Rock Johnson. So I know you had your footprint all over this. So first of all, I would like to congratulate you. My biggest problem with DC movies is visually it is dark and I can't see shit for these fight scenes and everything else like that. This one, no dark shit. So The Rock, thank you so much for that. I'm glad we got rid of that shit. All right. I like to see the fights and everything else like that. So right off that part, this is like my favorite DC movie now. Or I put this in my top DC movies. I can finally see some shit. But also it did give me a vibe of a Marvel-ish movie.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know these characters, but Dr. Fate, shit, we already have a Doctor Strange who could do magical things and stuff like that.
So are you not familiar at all with Dr. Fate?
Not at all. Like none of those characters in there, I am not familiar at all. Because
I'm just gonna throw this out there. Dr. Fate is not supposed to be taking that helmet on and off because like there's like a spirit inside that helmet and he controls the person that's wearing it. And so he don't want you to fucking take it off because then you're not under his control.
Ew. Okay, so I didn't know that.
Okay.
And then you had Atom Smasher, which is like, Ant-Man.
Right. You had Storm.
Right. So it's like, I don't know these characters. So now I'm based off the characters I already know. I'm like, well, Marvel's already doing this, but I appreciate you making new stars. I'm tired of the recycling. Those 4 or 5 DC, we all know who they are, recycling them day after day. I was thinking about the main ones, but I'll throw Harley Quinn in there. It was like DC has a 5 stars and they go through them so many times. I'm glad they're finally opened a door for other characters.
Yeah.
And that people don't know. So I really appreciate that.
I will say I wish that the team would have been a little bit larger. You're gonna send 4 people in to take on a god.
And was it Hawkman or whatever? Yeah, Hawkman was getting his ass worked throughout the Black Adam was kicking his ass throughout the whole movie, and I was like, he just kept trying to like talk shit, but I'm like
egging him on, but it's like you're no match, my guy.
Right? It's like why? Like if he had like something happen, we had a leg up on him or whatever. But no, like even when he had his malice thing, his mace, he was still getting worked, but he was still trying to come at him.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I'm not basing this off comics. I'm basing this off of Justice League, the animated series. Like, what his mace is made out of is magic based. So it's in theory, it should be able to take on a Black Adam, but not really. But it clearly didn't.
Right. But one thing I did enjoy is I did enjoy Black Adam. There wasn't a lot of dialogue for him.
Yeah, I really like that.
Yeah, it was simple stuff. I really enjoyed that part. The rest of the stuff is kind of like, paint by numbers. I don't know if too much information about the history of Black Adam, and some people were saying the accent, the region, and things of that. I don't know the details of the comic book or whatever like that to comment on it, but I know I saw the reviews and everybody was shitting on it, and I was like, yeah, see, I knew that was gonna happen. But no, I enjoyed it. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, like I said, The Rock has never been in a great movie, but his movies are always good. I mean, they're not gonna win no Academy Awards or anything else like that, but they're for what they are good movies. And of course, as viewers or whatever, we want more depth, we want like great stuff, but he puts out consistent stuff.
Yeah, it's not gonna be a 5-star what he's putting out there, but it's gonna be solidly in the middle.
Right. It's like you're not eating caviar.
This is a burger.
This hot dog sandwich is fire though. This hot dog sandwich is fire. It's fire though. So I think that's what it is. So I think I mean, he knows what he's doing though.
No, he really does. I really do wish that they would have toned down some of that whole a hero is this, a hero is that stuff.
Yeah, they
Um,
leaned a lot into like they not only leaned into it, they kept going back to it multiple times.
right. And it's like I hear you, but if you didn't have this so heavily when he actually makes the turn to like do the right thing, you'd be like, okay, I can see where you're coming from. But it's like you keep fucking saying the same thing.
Right. And also because Hawkman,
Yeah.
I keep wanting to say Hawkeye. Hawkman, he's not likable in this at all.
No, he is not. And I'm like, I'm not super familiar with Hawkman. Obviously, Hawk Girl, Justice League the animated series. But it's like I yeah, he's a dick. He's a fucking dick.
Like the whole time, whereas like this dude just showed up. Black Adam just showed up. And then now y'all is like, oh, we about to do this, we about to do this. How about we talk to this man, figure out what's going on or something? It was like he was antagonizing them. Like he's the real anti-hero. Why are you being a dick right? Yeah.
Right. And then also like I was thinking it before she said it, the main woman lead, that teacher or scientist or whatever she was, when I'm seeing them tear up this Middle Eastern country, right? And they over here have been like fucking terrorized by this organization. They putting checkpoints up and shit. And I'm like, now y'all want to come through? Like,
and when she said that to him, I was like there was another time where she said this. She said something else to me or something else where like the audience was like, yeah, you want to come up here and do this when he's doing this, but where were you guys at for all these years and everything else like that?
Right.
So then when Dr. Fate told him, he's like, you can't, or no, wait, she said it. I take it back. She said, she goes, you are drawing the line at who's good and who's bad or whatever based off your thing. But just like in his eyes, he's bad because he's killing, but their eyes, they're saving them. He is freeing them. Right. So she really spoke to what like logically what the person will say.
Do you remember that part in Rogue One when the main woman, she gets rescued from prison and that robot is like, I am here to rescue you, don't resist. That's what it felt like. We turn all this shit up, but we helping y'all, all right? Like these people that's been fucking beating the fuck out of y'all and killing y'all, I just saved them. Due process, y'all. Due process.
Exactly.
Fuck
exactly.
That. So no, like that right there puts you on the same side as Black Adam. So you don't need to keep saying, oh, but you know, a good guy is this and a bad guy is that. Shut up.
Right. And also like what he's doing as a viewer, he's not being a bad guy though.
Right. It's not like he's like running up on like civilians and killing them.
Right.
Like he attacks anybody that attacks him first.
Because like think about this. Everything that he did in this movie is something that we've seen the Hulk do. Hulk has thrown people. Hulk has done this, but there's never been a discussion about is Hulk needs to be a hero. He shouldn't throw these people. Like you said, like if he was out here like robbing old women or something like that, or doing some stuff like on his own, like I'm gonna rob a bank for whatever reason, something like that, where he's like he's a bad guy.
Right.
He's just beating
defending
the bad
himself.
Guys
he's defending himself.
Right. So like the whole he's not a hero or he's a villain. Nothing in this movie showed that he was a villain. None of this part in this movie.
Right.
It was
just because he kills, he's a villain.
Right. Just because the Justice Society kept telling us he's not a hero, he's a villain. But if you just watched it, nothing he does in there is a villain.
Right. But I'd say we expanded just slightly, just because the U.S. government says that he's a villain.
Right.
Because that's the whole fucking point of it. Like Waller is like, hey, this is fucking up our interest in this Middle Eastern country. I need y'all to fucking handle that.
Yep.
Yeah. But yeah, it was better than I thought. I wasn't ready for that Henry Winkler cameo. I hope he got paid real good for that 30 seconds.
Right. So you're more familiar. So does Adam Smasher get smaller, or he just only gets bigger?
That's a good question. I don't know. I did like her name was Cyclone, right? The woman on the
Yes, yes,
team,
yes,
like when she
yes.
didn't have
Cyclone.
her powers going, like her hair was braided, and then when she started like whirling around, those braids came out, and I was like, oh, I
Yeah.
fucking like the way her hair comes out. But then my thing was like, so you when you not in power mode, you braid your hair up real quick. Like what's happening here?
Hey man, the cycloneness of it makes it come out.
And last thing, like I really like the one time I was 100% on Hawkman's side was when Adam Smasher was trying to see what was good with Cyclone. And I was like, will you fucking stop? And Hawkman said, stop. And I was like, thank you. Fucking thank you.
I'm glad they didn't do it, because when they were talking about when she explained the nanobots and her and stuff, and I'm like, okay, gave me a little backstory of how she got her stuff, and they started doing that whole, are they about to kiss? Are they about to
Yeah.
be in a relationship? And I'm like, oh, we about to go down this road. And then later on, when he played him like that, when he was like, stop, I was like, okay, yeah, that don't need to be a trope in these movies where
we also none of us want this. Like, stop it.
right. Right.
But yeah, it's better than I expected. I give it a 3.5 out of 5. It was solid.
I give it a 4.
Okay. Are you ready for a future where we get Superman and Black Adam high-fiving each other and shit?
Okay, so then now that's what leads up into the what do you call these, the mid credit scenes?
Well, it was the only one too.
Okay, so yeah, so Waller shows up and says, you know, if you don't want to be in my jail, you need to stay in the city you in. But if not, we'll keep you there. Basically, he was like, nobody on Earth can stop me. And then she's like, well, we have people from other planets. And he was like, well, I dare you. And then the next scene, Superman shows up.
Right. Now I don't the way how did you read that scene?
I read it like there's going to be a confrontation.
I didn't, because he came in, like you said, he came in and he was like, we should talk. And he was all calm and shit. You know, eyes weren't glowing and whatnot.
But he led off where there's been a long time since what's the word? He used something like, it's been a long time since somebody else has had the Earth scared or something like that.
And so like that's why I'm like, I think he just wants to talk to him, because like if you remember in Man of Steel, everybody, and even Batman v Superman, people were scared as fuck out of Superman and shit. And he's like, hey man, I think he's just coming in saying, hey, I've been there. I want to talk you through it. I'm coming to you as a friend. That's how I read the scene.
Let me reiterate, I don't know nothing about DC Comics. So are they friends or are they enemies in the comics?
They are neutral parties that sometimes are on opposite sides of issues.
That seems about right. That seems like Superman would be on that holier than thou stuff, where Black Adam will be like, I'm only here to do this job, but if you get in my way, we can throw these hands.
Right. But also, like, the problem is we haven't really gotten Superman correct in film for real. Like maybe even since like Christopher Reeve, that's probably the only time we got him right. And it's like Superman's not about out here like trying to fucking hurt people. Like his first move is to like see how he can best de-escalate the situation. Like he like punching something is the last resort for him. Mm-hmm. But that's also not an interesting movie.
Right. So, and I'm glad, hopefully under $7, Dwayne and what's his ex-wife's name?
Oh,
no, I'm trying to think of his ex-wife.
I see what you're saying.
Well, them, because I figured they got they hand in this, to where this is going to be the new DC stuff. Because you got Shazam, you got all this other stuff. So I'm optimistic now. I'm more optimistic now after seeing this movie and seeing what they're doing forward. Because before this, there was no DC movie I'll be checking for.
Right. I got you.
Now I'm intrigued to see what they do with this. I mean, with the whole universe.
I am too. We shall see.
Yes.
Final words before we roll out, Matt.
Forget what you read on social media about this movie. Go out and see it for yourself.
Yeah.
If you like it or you don't be misled. Some people are gonna like it, some people's not, but don't believe what you read, because I enjoyed it. If you like The Rock, if you like, basically it's like a mini Rock in a Marvel movie for DC. It wasn't bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, let me think about it. If The Rock was in a Marvel movie, it would probably be better. Actually, I'm thinking about it. It probably would be better.
It probably would be. But
Yeah.
hey, he drew his line in the sand, and it's fine.
Right, because apparently he's been trying to do this for like 15 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
So,
I'll give him
good on
props for
you.
staying for it. Yes.
Yeah, same here. Don't listen to the critics, even though we're two critics.
Listen to us, not to the other ones.
Right. This is one situation where you should go in and form your own opinion, because it's not that bad. It's solid.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.